If you don't support your camera properly, your shots are going to get blurry. And worse, after years of photography, your back is going to hate you. So here's a few quick tips to make sure you get nice sharp shots and avoid expensive Osteopath bills. Now if you move the camera at all when you're pressing the shutter, this is what you'll get. And this will get worse the slower the shutter speed. So you need to create a stable platform for shooting from. Now ideally you want to use a tripod, a monopod, or some other form of camera support system like a beanbag or a little gorilla pod thing. Failing that, balance it on a table, rest it on the floor, or brace yourself against something. But if none of those are available, you've got to create a stable platform from your own body. Now logically enough, the less stable you are, the less stable the camera will be. That's basic physics. Try holding an object of any weight out at arm's length for a period of time and you'll realise just how difficult it is and how much you start to vibrate. It's exactly the same with the camera. A DSLR and a decent lens can easily weigh 8, maybe even 10 kilos, and that's a lot of weight to keep away from your body for any length of time, and certainly try and keep it stable in that time. The first thing to do then is try and brace your arms as much as possible. Bring your elbows in nice and tight to your body. You're trying to reduce the load on those levers. Think about how much more leverage something has got when it's further away from its anchor point, and you'll realise that the closer something is to you, the more stable you'll be able to hold it. Now I'd suggest doing this no matter what type of camera you're holding. Yes, obviously it's vital for DSLRs that are heavy and with bigger lenses, but just because you're holding something like a little compact or a smartphone doesn't mean you won't still be shaking. So I'd carry this out no matter what you're shooting with. The next thing to think about is where and how you're actually holding the camera and the lens. Now, this grip is a good starting point. If you're using anything bigger than something like a small 50mm lens or even a pancake lens, your left hand should be on the lens and taking much more of the weight than your right. Your right should really just be guiding where the camera is pointing, allowing you just to squeeze the shutter. What you're trying to avoid is hammering away at the shutter and increasing the vibrations that you make when you actually take a picture. And that's definitely increased if all of the weight is through that right hand, because that hand is now under a lot of stress. Now do be conscious of where your left hand is on the lens. You don't want to be inadvertently adjusting the zoom or the focus or turning various functions on and off like autofocus or vibration reduction controls. Now despite having told you how important it is to make a nice solid frame and bring your elbows in tight, there is quite a risk doing this. That what will happen is you will steadily start to hunch up. Your shoulders will head up somewhere around your ears, and I can tell you, as somebody who's been taking photographs for well in excess of 20 years, that doing this for long periods of time will give you a very bad back and get very expensive with Osteopath bills. Now whilst keeping your platform stable and bringing those arms in, try and consciously draw your shoulders down and back away from your ears. I can't guarantee you'll never need to go and see an osteopath, but it'll certainly keep the bills down. It'll be far less frequent than if you spend your entire shooting career somewhere up like this. Now in the same vein, if you're shooting from the ground, be really careful about being in this position where your neck is bent back on itself and you're basically crushing those top vertebrae. If you're using a DSLR, try something like a right-angled viewfinder adapter like I've got here, or if your camera has a flip screen of any sort, employ that as soon as you can and try and keep that spine and neck angle fairly neutral. So that's how to get nice stable shots whilst also keeping your medical bills down. For more quick tips and technical stuff like this, obviously like, subscribe and please comment below. And if you want more in-depth information, there are full courses on my Teachable site which can be found at photosmudger.teachable.com. See you soon.